Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back, everybody.
So, guys, please do subscribe to both channels, Evolutionary Energy Arts and also over on EEARTS. And this was a video we did talking about ways to raise your vibrations in stressful times. Well, that seems like a good idea, doesn't it?
I think it's more like imperative.
Yeah, absolute necessity. This was done on a mountaintop in New Mexico back in 2020. My gosh, time is flying. It'll be 2 years ago. I remember when we just did that like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, time really is flying, and I think in a literal sense, too.
It really is. Well, everything is changing. This is from Nostradamus. And here we see this quatrain. It says, the cruel sect of Muslims will come. Hiding weapons under their robes, their leader will take Florence and burn it twice, sending ahead clever men without laws. And this is from Nostradamus Wiki, and this particular page here is talking about the horrible war, and actually it's a lot of quatrains that might be referencing WW3. This one sticks out in my mind, and I just wanted to bring it up because, you know, if you haven't been paying attention to the migrant issue in both NATO countries in Europe and also in the USA, you might not have seen little headlines like this. German intelligence warns of ISIL or ISIS. Hit squads amongst refugees. Hit squads amongst refugees. Well, you know, it's not just Germany. It's all over. And we hear that with people every week as we do energy work, spiritual coaching, Vedic charts, Vedic astrology charts. We have actually, it's pretty much a 50-50 mix between people in the U.S. and people out of the U.S., as far as the people that we talk to on a regular basis. Illegal migrants using military tactics to invade U.S. southern border in Arizona. These things should kind of perk up our ears a little bit. Chinese military infiltrating U.S. colleges, federal officials say. Shouldn't that be a little just concerning? Iran terror sleeper cells infiltrating South America, Argentine prosecutor says. Yeah, and with millions and millions. Yeah, we saw basically in like a year's time, 2 million people illegally enter. The border's wide open. And yeah, there's a lot wrong with this scenario. And this right here, this tweet I saw today, why do the Albanians need shooting practice before illegally crossing the channel to live in the UK? There's a lot of people, and nowadays we have the technology to put two and two together. We're saying, why do these migrants always seem to have short military-style haircuts and seem to be well-groomed? They don't seem to be starving. They look in pretty good physical shape. Again, a military age. Well, yeah, you could see the type of things that people are posting and put two and two together and just discover there's a lot more than meets the eye. You know, there are people that will do anything for money. They don't care. There are some people that will do anything for money. We see this. There are so many contractors out there now, ex-military people, that will just hire themselves off to the top bidder. And when we look at who is ISIS, who is Al-Qaeda, and we see a lot of these people are always under contract to somebody. They're just modern day warriors for sale. They're like Ronin, masterless samurai. Whoever's got the money, that's where they'll go. You know, it might appear to be a religious war, but not really. It's all about the almighty dollar. And we should be really paying attention. We've been blowing this whistle since day one. And here you see whistleblower claims Biden administration knowingly resettled hundreds of Afghanistans. Remember all those people jumping on the planes and let me out of here as Afghanistan was falling to the Taliban. Well, so many got resettled all across the country, and even some that are on lists that say these people are potential threats to the country, and here they are. Oh, here's your keys to your new apartment. You know, here we could hook you up with a nice job. We could hook you up with this and that. Just make sure to vote.
Mm-hmm. Just do as we say, and you'll get paid plenty.
Absolutely, we should understand what's going on behind the scenes, because it won't be too long before everybody will realize what has been happening. Taking a peek at U.S. Navy news here, we see that Harry S. Truman has entered the Mediterranean. The George H.W. Bush is still off the coast of Italy, and the Harry S. Truman should be replacing the George H.W. Bush, and that should come back into port. But at the moment, we have basically 3 carrier strike groups, which is a real rarity in the Ukrainian theater. Let's just kind of leave it at that. You see the USS Bataan is off the coast, the east coast of the U.S., and then relatively typical, there's 3 carrier strike groups over in the Pacific if anything was to happen with Taiwan and China. So we have Tucker Carlson, who's gone totally woke, so sort of, as much as you can, I guess, be in this world. Elites are making things worse on purpose. It's good to see, at least, you know, it's out there in the mainstream. Yes, back to the Dark Ages. What is thy will, my lord, my lady? Well, we got to raise armies, so we're going to take your kids. But they're only 6 and 7. That's fine. We'll train them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they don't mind one bit.
Absolutely. This is what's been going on in so many different ways for so long, and now it's just coming out. Europe is descending into poverty because of the spiraling energy costs and the inability of countries to provide their own power sources. All this has been done completely on purpose. Absolutely on purpose. And there was another article, too, that was saying what's going on is really all about destroying the West. It really is. It's about destroying NATO. Pentagon admits it's helping Ukraine forces sink Russian warships. It's actually training Ukrainian people here in the U.S. and in Kansas on how to utilize some of the higher tech stuff that's going over now, as they want to give another $12 billion on top of what they've already given for the war effort. Boy, that military-industrial complex keeps raking in the profits. And here you have Putin saying in a big speech, we've lost nothing. Well, 50,000 people is what they say. Whether that's accurate or not, who's ever going to really know? We're not going to know. And he is warning Western elites that sanctions fever will see European people freeze. It's going to be a chilly year in many Western nations. And in fact, I mean, if you look at what's happened, this has catapulted the BRICS nations into a place of not just equality, but again, they are being set up to be the new power structure of the NWO.
A lot going on, and in a way it's happening really fast, but it's happening slow enough so that people don't like step on the brakes or really freak out. You know, I mean, what could we do really? It gets so frustrating to sometimes feel so powerless. But if we step back for a moment, what can we do? We can start getting ourselves out of the system.
Yes, and again, you know, recognize the signs all around you. Supplies are gold. The dollar is going to be nothing. And ultimately, again, if we're not able to at least have some semblance of self-sufficiency, we're going to have to do anything the government says to do, whatever that is, if you want to survive. That's exactly what is being orchestrated. That's the big purpose. You have no choice but to do exactly what Big Brother however you want to term it, says Pentagon suspends F-35 deliveries after discovering materials from China. Well, as we were saying, so much of the computer components in many of our top military systems, including the NUKESs, come from China. Oh, yeah, it is a disaster, but it's been in planning for a long time. And here we see Russia and China's growing partnership with the Islamic world. That goes back to that quote that we're talking about from Nostradamus, spells trouble for the West. Absolutely. The traditional Anglo-American strategy of playing divide and conquer with Muslim states may have run its course. Well, obviously, that's the cabal elites, whatever terms we want to use, the deep state. The deep state is a global thing, honestly. Again, this is a control grid that's controlling all of humanity. And that's what they do, divide and conquer. It's always been that way. Yet again, the power structure is to shift over to the east. Gazprom signs deal with China to convert payments to the ruble and the yuan. So again, the petrodollar is going to be a thing of the past, just a memory. Everything is shifting. Did you know that China prints banknotes for other countries besides China? They do. They make the currency for Thailand, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, India, Brazil, and Poland. Well, the latter has looked into it. Interesting, is it not? But again, this is all about that shifting strategy. And here we see this is a new vessel being put into military service in Iran. And when we, in ages past, would have thought about Iran and their military, it would be two guys in a fishing boat. It's not the case anymore. Things can happen rapidly when there's serious money behind something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that thing looks like it could be a spaceship and a ship on the water. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at it, I was like, Iran? Wow. Yeah. Things are changing. And Japan is going back to building huge battle cruisers the size, pretty much, of aircraft carriers. And yet, you got to wonder about that, because in this time with cruise missiles, with drones, they're just big sitting ducks, because they cannot move quick enough. I know they have things that they can release to try to shield them, think in terms of chaff and other types of defense systems, but it doesn't seem like that would be a good thing to do. Just saying. That's just me. Maybe somebody else out there with more of a military background could give us more of a perspective on that. Federal Reserve is a suicide bomber. Love that quote. They sure are, and they're about to blow up the whole dang thing. We are close. Many people think by the end of October, the system might have been totally changed. After all, again, you have the Vatican telling everybody out there under their wing, get all your money back to us by the end of September. So, what type of October surprise is coming? It can definitely be an explosive one.
It sure can.
Downing Street is hinting that the fracking ban could be lifted in a new energy bills package. Yes, and so, might be some more earthquakes down the line happening in the UK. Meanwhile, Bolsonaro's re-election, it looks like the people like him. He is definitely, and he does seem to have a very unusual energy. He definitely is somebody that's divisive, but then again, anybody that's anti-system would have a lot of division associated with them. And it's so hard to get a true picture of things about how people are viewed in their own countries until you really get there out on the streets and you hear it for yourself. Now, I have not been to Brazil.
Nope, me neither.
But again, if you go to if you go to a Biden rally, it's like there's a couple crickets and a drunk guy in the corner.
Hopefully, yeah.
So this is Tucker talking about the murder of Eliza Fletcher. He said everybody knows the rules. Eliza Fletcher violated those rules. You can't go outside certain hours in certain places in America. If you do, you run the risk of being raped and murdered. That's how things work in this country. You know, crime has gone through the roof. It's just insane what we're seeing with crime. It's skyrocketing in so many major cities. But this was something different, and Cindy picked up on that right away.
This one was quite disturbing, you know, where the energies that came through were very dark, and there was a few things going on. I'm a little bit afraid to comment on it.
Yeah, we could just leave it as this was not what it's being portrayed as. And you might want to look into the background of this individual and the potential net worth of the person, as well as the businesses associated. Yeah, this is more of a cover-up going on there. And talk about a cover-up. Doctors are trying to figure out how there was 6 feet of blood clots removed from the legs of this young man. That's insane. 6 feet of blood clots from this, high school footballer. But at the same time, we see a mortician, Richard Hirschman, pulling these things out of bodies of dead people that all got the C period, U period, R period, E period. Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's one isolated case. This is everywhere. And here's the pathologist. Autopsy tissues show these are not normal clots. No, and we know what's responsible. I can't believe that term would be the hell to pay that is coming when the reality of what's happened sets in with the public, with the majority of the public. I think many are still in shock, basically, and really haven't put 2 and 2 together yet. So Gil Bates caught spending $319 million on buying off mainstream media journalists. Did I do that?
That's just yuck.
Absolutely. The corruption is just, it's more than deplorable. It should make you virtually yuck. And, here we have new moms in British Columbia must repay maternity benefits, if not fully. It's got to lead you to say, what's the real goal here? What's the real goal? We know excessive deaths are skyrocketing. And, deaths from the plague upon the land, which we know we can't count on the numbers. They're probably not even slightly close to accurate. As, there was no flu for, a long period of time. And every year we see millions of cases of flu. And there was no flu. Hello. This is just, what can you say? You guys, please share what you think about what's going on. Let's hear your words for what you see going on out there. CDC gave Facebook misinformation. Yes. Are you surprised? So you have all this being exposed. Now, they're counting on something because the outrage is going to make the French Revolution look like nothing. And thus, they do have cards to play. As we were talking about, we have those sleepy cellular units in the country. We have a looming WW3 under, it's really kind of underway now, even as we speak. And there could always be other things happen. This is Britain's new Secretary of State for Health and Social Care. Do you think we could learn a lot from her about health? Well, at least she's social, apparently. She's out having a good time somewhere. Seriously, you gotta start questioning things. Wait a minute, this is the of health? No. Well, how about the U.S.? Belgium, Canada. Now, shouldn't somebody that is the Secretary of the Department of Health actually be a representative of what you would describe as, fit, healthy, vibrant, somebody that seems to understand how diet, exercise, nutrition, and other components of, a good, healthy lifestyle would contribute to keeping us in shape?
This is even a tough one, too. comment on, because at the rate so many people are getting upset, I don't know. You can't even really mention anything, really.
Yeah, and I debated this, but seriously, you have to live it in order to teach it. You should be an exemplary person of it to the highest degree you could, or just take a step back. So, yeah, but then again, if these are experts in health, and then when we hear about following the science and the science of the medical industry and all, I think it all kind of starts to make a little more sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure does. Yeah.
This is interesting. Archaeologists in Borneo excavated a 31,000-year-old skeleton. It was missing a foot. The weird part is it appears to be surgically removed. Somebody did an amputation 31,000 years ago? That doesn't match the science. Humans successfully amputated a limb 31,000 years ago. Yeah, sure, we were all just grunting and dragging our ladies around by their hair.
I've had people send me pictures of skeletons with some kind of surgical metal in place of the skeleton where there was a hole. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember those. Yep. Yeah, surgery's been done for a very long time. Metal plates inserted in skulls. And again, it doesn't match the science we are taught. And, I heard they made a portrait of Michelle and Barrio.
Oh, goody.
Oh, yeah. I wonder where they're going to put this.
Let's. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. Those are the official portraits of. Oh, wait a minute. No, maybe it's George and who.
No, we're not making fun of anyone.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Are we the bullies now?
Guys, you gotta laugh. It's just insanity. Did we ever? I never trusted any of these people. Never, ever, ever, ever did I trust any of these people. I think a lot of people now are waking up to the fact that, yeah, you can't trust any politicians. None. Zilch. It just is part of what makes them politicians.
It is. It's in their nature. They really cannot help it. It's like telling a scorpion not to sting something.
Absolutely. So thanks for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without your support. Check out Medicinal Foods. There's a link on every video, and the links are also on every video to Ko-Fi and also for Patreon. May you guys be blessed and kept safe. May you be prepared for the times and the roller coaster ride that's ahead. Namaste.
Namaste.